Joining us to talk about this and more is Anthony Tatzel, Head of EMEA at online training provider Coursera. Anthony, thanks for joining us.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Anthony, Coursera has recently published its latest Global Skills Report. Can you tell us a little bit about the report and what it covers?
Absolutely. So every year we publish what we call a Global Skills Index, which is part of the overall Global Skills Report. And this is really looking at the state of skills across a wide range of countries. So we look at the insights that we can glean from our platform data and research. And in this particular iteration of the report, that data is looking from the first quarter of 2020 through to the first quarter of 2021. So pretty recent data, and looks across about 77 million learners on our platform who are a combination of individual people looking at their own learning goals and representation through about 4,000 campuses, 2,000 businesses, and about 100 different government departments, typically working on workforce development projects. So it gives us a very in-depth insight into what's happening in the world of skills, what people are focusing on, what are changes, what are the trends in the skills world. But it also gives us some insight into the relative skills, competencies, or proficiencies of different countries and across different domains. So we can look at, for example, the UK and see how does it compare perhaps globally or with Europe. And this report is really intended to help government institutions, workforces, industry leaders to really better understand those skill trends and how they potentially can look at those in the light of their own organization and their own plans to use skills to drive either competitive advantage or better outcomes for citizens or students.
Now, we've descended into hybrid working at a fairly rapid rate last year, I think it's fair to say, but it looks like this is very much here to stay. According to your report, however, home workers have historically been less likely to receive promotions and bonuses and more likely to end up doing unpaid overtime. Now that I guess the majority of us are, to a greater or lesser extent, home workers, are these issues going to continue to be a problem for employees, do you think?
I do think it's a challenge that is something that institutions and companies need to look at. As you say, in the report, the evidence we've seen is that individuals over 2017 to 2020, so this is quite a long time period, and most, again, this is reporting on data that is perhaps pre-pandemic. And of course, the pandemic may have created a shift in approach and policy. But if you look at the historical data, what we saw is that those who mainly work from home were about half as likely to be promoted as other workers, if you like office-based workers. Similarly, that getting bonuses, that those who work from home were around about 38% less likely to receive a bonus. And more overtime, unpaid overtime, was done by people working at home compared to office workers. Now, again, this was typically individuals that we've looked at data over a period of years, and we've seen this as a trend and a pattern. And perhaps in many of those scenarios, people working at home were more anomalous compared to an office-based culture. What we are seeing as a result of the pandemic, as people are emerging and going back into the world of work, that obviously all institutions had to embrace working from home. We had no choice in that. And it's been done for a long time. And many have found that to be very successful. And of course, many workers actually like